Good evening. Welcome to the Memoirs. We are here to obsess about Napoleon in a new way. There is a very important question that I am trying to answer once and for all. And I never can, I suppose, but I'm going to try anyway. And the question is it possible that Napoleon is among us? And if he is, what are we going to do about it? Because the candidate is very mysterious and very brilliant. And he is, I think, the Napoleon of music anyway. So he's already in the running. I'm, of course, talking about Elvis Costello, who I like to call Cohen, the King of America, Napoleon Dynamite. Why King of America? Because, first of all, I think the United States is a British colony. And I've been saying this for years. I even had some dubious spy system types trying to further prove that I was right to get in my good graces so they could pretend to be my friend. And who knows? Who knows what would happen later? But, I could usually see through it. But this agent, actually, I gotta tell you, sometimes I think he likes me. I think some of the agents like me. It's really funny, but I think I have won some of them over. I hope so. Listen, to all you agents, if I have won you over, thank you. Thank you. That's what we want. Let's move forward and actually defend our country. That would be great, wouldn't it? Anyway, so this agent, you know who you are, said he basically showed me that the United States had the terms of the so-called Revolutionary War dictated to them by the supposed loser. So he showed me something I didn't even know about, that even the Revolutionary War was probably fake. We were being lied to for centuries. And you have to start to wonder, who has the ability to lie over centuries? Who has that kind of capacity? You're not dealing with people. People only live for 50, 70, 90 years. We don't operate over multiple centuries. So you can only start asking, are these spiritual beings? And if they're spiritual, they lie all the time, and they torment and destroy lives, and they come up with publicity stunts that leave a lot of people dead and destroy our economy. All these things are being done by individuals who operate over centuries. So you have to start to wonder, what are we up against? Are we even up against? I think the people that we're up against are possessed. That's my big theory. Possessed with what? With dark spirits. So what's going on? And then it's so interesting because I always go back to that story that we hear, and some of the stories we hear must be true. And it's the story of Lucifer getting kicked out of heaven. Did that really happen? Was he a musician? Did he have a third of the angels to take with him? Were they cast down to earth from heaven? I, maybe, but that's the story that works. That Lucifer wanted to rule here, and he would rather rule here than serve in heaven. I would rather serve in heaven. That's what I think is really going on here. I would rather rule in heaven, serve in heaven. I don't need to rule heaven, but I think Lucifer needs to rule things, and I think he was cast down here, and I think he does have. I think we are dealing with fallen angels. That's what I maybe I'm wrong, but I think we are dealing with fallen angels, and they make their deals with people, and they offer them garbage, and then they hand over their souls for this garbage that Lucifer offers. This is just what I think is going on. Some people wouldn't agree with that, I guess, but it seems to me like this is Lucifer's world, and we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do about that. And I believe this for a long time. And that's why I act like this. I don't cling to this world in the least, because I think it's Lucifer's world. I feel that way. And I think Lucifer runs the banking system. And I think that's how he controls people. Ooh, Lucifer, it's scary, but he's in a person or he's in multiple people. He's operating through people. Oh, guess what? They're rich. They're super rich. See how it works? You can be super rich if you serve Lucifer here. And they think they're having such a wonderful time here and they've gamed the system in their favor, but they're actually slaves and they have no future spiritually. And I hope, I honestly, I even said some things about Cohen. I think along those lines. I never wanted to hurt him at all. And I'm so sorry about that always. I think I made a stupid joke about something like that. Singers and musicians and fallen angels. And I did have a very dark view of him, and I'm sorry about that. But I was kind of seeing him as a fallen angel, but he is a fallen angel. And we want him back very much. Very much. So we have to get him back. This is so important. Okay. There really is, there are angels. And sometimes they do fall. And we have to get them back. And that's what this is all about. And I'm here to please all of you. Come back to God, because we can't live like this. And there is no future under the dark side. I don't care what you call it. Is it literally Lucifer? There is a dark side. My goodness. Who's doing all these horrible things to us? It's unbelievable. Anyway, as you can see, I have a new backdrop. Let's just totally change the subject. I said everything I have to say about that. Unfortunately. That's how I perceive things. Anyways, I have a new backdrop. Actually, it looks pretty good here. This little spot's not working, but it was pretty much a disaster. It looks horrible, and I thought I would do a background that's a little more currently my style, because the paintings that were behind me were like my old art that I just so happen to have down here in my basement. And then I painted this sheet, and it looked not that great, but I thought, oh, I'll put it in the washing machine, and then it'll like balance out or become muted. And it just turned into a disaster. It was horrible, and the colors were all muddy. As soon as I put it in, I knew it was the biggest mistake. But that's what happens when you paint. You gotta try different things. So I actually, because I was so unhappy with this one, I painted another one. But I knew what to do. Don't put it in the washing machine. I don't want to ramble too much about this, but it's really important to me to throw colors around. So I did want something in this stream representing that. Okay, so I don't know how much I want to repeat myself about my mission here, but I think the biggest thing on this planet, and certainly in my life, is Napoleon with us? And if he is with us, he's in some kind of compromised situation. It's horrible. He definitely is. And we want him back so much. And I want to hear him able to speak freely. And I don't know what his constraint is. I know what mine is. I think I know what mine is. But the constraint, he can't talk. So I can't find out what's going on with him. I do hear him very much so, but telepathically, but not in real world communication. I don't hear anything basically, just little hints and stuff. So we'll see what we can do. But the point is that he is Napoleon. I think I've proven it quite a bit, and I continue to prove it. And I have a letter from Napoleon to Josephine here, and I have said this on the stream a few times that I feel Napoleon was a twin flame, and actually twin flames with his stepdaughter. And since he had such a pain in his heart, a longing for his twin flame, he was always looking for a woman to project that onto. And he somehow found the perfect person in Josephine, because he fell madly in love with her. I totally think it was a spell, just the way he acts. And I really do believe that she put him under a spell because she needed a husband. I just believe that. But you can just look at the whole story and see if it works. It's not, you can't prove it. I can't prove it. So So he runs off when he can project his self, his own self onto her. He really doesn't know her. And she can't she's having an affair. I don't know what she was thinking, but she she just starts having an affair as soon as he's gone. I can't believe it. I've gone through this so many times. I wanted it to not be true, but it is true. And Napoleon knew, he knew at a certain point that she was. And again, Napoleon, if your marriage starts that way to Napoleon, can you imagine? I mean, and I know a lot about Cohen too now, so it, it's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Not with this kind of person. You can't disrespect them like that. Like they just can't. You just can't. They're not gonna forget it. So Napoleon never forgot this. So it totally affected their marriage. And he did not take their marriage seriously at all. And he was a twin flame. I think I'm trying to show. So he's like looking for her, looking for her. So he's married, and he has this wife who, once she's about to lose him, she is she would eat glass for him. She would do anything for him. Once he was about to divorce her, she was like she degraded herself to do anything for him, and it was a really creepy marriage in many ways. And Napoleon is just like looking for his twin flame, and he doesn't find it, and he's miserable. He's like, Napoleon is such a sad person. People don't realize just how uh, depressed he is. And if you look at just the paintings, the sadness in his eyes is unbelievable. So Napoleon was so much sadder than people thought, and he was so unfulfilled, and he was so frustrated. And you would think he was totally happy, but he wasn't happy at all. He was really, really, really unusually sad. So a lot like Cohen, he's so sad, and you can't miss that kind of sadness. So here we have another letter where Napoleon is starting to realize that he's most certainly has not found his ideal in this wife. This is his first wife, Josephine. He certainly didn't find it in his second either. So you can hear the way he's writing to her. He's still so like in love with her because he's so passionate. He's so like driven to get this twin flame. It's killing him, and so he wants it to be her, but it's not her. So you can see what he goes through, and just the emotions. It's so similar to Cohen. The funny thing is, I'm seeing the memoirs are beautifully written, and they're so sensitive, and they're so nostalgic, and they're so well written. All of that's Napoleon. Napoleon was a great writer. He was so nostalgic, and he could remember things, and that's so like Napoleon, just the way they're written. But you really see Cohen more in Napoleon's love letters. That's where I'm seeing it the most. It's so similar. So we're really seeing it's it's really appearing, I think. And I'm really excited about continuing to do this. So I'm going to read this letter from Napoleon. To the Citness, Bonaparte, number 6 Rue Chanteran, Chaussée d'Antin, Paris, Albenga, 18th Germinal. I receive a letter which you break off, you say, to go to the country, and after that, you adopt the tone of being jealous about me, who am here overwhelmed by duties and cares. Ah, my dear love, but indeed, I am in the wrong. In the springtime, country is beautiful, and then the lover of 19 will without doubt make his appearance. Is there an instant to spare for writing to him who, separated from you by 300 leagues, does not live, knows not happiness, does not exist except to remember you, who reads your letters as one devours? After 6 hours of the chase, the morsel one loves? I am not happy. Your last letter is cold as friendship. I did not find in it that fire which I have sometimes thought to see kindling in your countenance. But what an odd fellow I am. I found that your preceding letters too much oppressed my soul. The revolution they produced assailed my repose, enslaved my senses. I wished for colder letters, but these have an icy touch as of death. The fear of not being loved by Josephine, the thought that she could be inconstant, but I imagine causes of grief. There are so many real ones. Need one invent? You cannot have inspired a love so boundless without responding, and with a mind and soul such as yours. You could not, in return for such surrender, such devotion, give the death stroke. I have received Madame de Chateau-Renaud's letter. I have written to the minister of, I will write tomorrow to her, to whom you will pay the customary compliments. Genuine friendly greetings to Madame Talia and Barra. You say nothing about your villainous stomach. I detest it. Adieu until tomorrow. Mio dolce amor, a token from my matchless wife, and a victory, destiny's gift. Those are my wishes. A token unique, complete, worthy of him who thinks of you, and every instant. My brother is here. He learned of my marriage with pleasure. He burns with desire to know you. I'm trying to persuade him to go to Paris. His wife has just been brought to bed. She was delivered of a girl. They are sending you a present of genuine bonbons. You will receive from me oranges, perfumes, and orange water. Juno and Murat present you their respects. A kiss lower than the breast. Anyway, I don't even know what to add to that. So similar. I'm proving this, okay? It sounds wild, hard to believe. And yeah, here it is. So similar. All right, we will continue this romp of congruence and proving something that is so hard to prove. Okay, we have to get him out. He's our leader. Okay, we have to get him out. He's like a political prisoner. Just wanted to be a musician. Right? I'm so glad he became a musician. I'm so happy to have heard his music. My whole life I've been thinking about all of these people like me who can't have careers because we live under an organized crime, dark occult, left-hand path, global empire, where you have every incentive to do wrong and you have absolutely no incentive to do right. Not only do you not have incentive to do right, but you're terrorized that you're going to be murdered for it. They're constantly indoctrinating us that do good and you'll get killed. It's kind of the Jesus story, if you know what I mean. It's do good and you'll get killed. Do good and you'll get killed. Then we're in hell. Okay, and Cohen wrote a very nice, very appropriate song. I don't want to say nice, but it is actually beautiful. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell. If I can't do the right thing and I'm put under house arrest 2 times over, I mean, all these games, now I can't even see Cohen in concert. This is hell. This is why I absolutely cannot accept it. And please join me. Show courage. I know nobody wants organized crime to send the thugs to their house, but that's how the entire world is being policed right now. That, oh, they might come to your house, and then you're going to be on their list, and then they're going to come after you. And then, oh no, I have to be invisible to them. It's all witchcrafting games. I feel like that works on everybody. I should be getting a lot more like real support. Real support. You know, that would take courage. And Cohen is showing a ton of courage, and I appreciate it so much. But the only two, and you guys still don't say my name, you know, but the only two who really did show me outright that they were supporting me, Van Morrison and Cohen. And it's certainly, I feel very supported by both. And I have nothing but I desire to do everything I possibly can to support Van Morrison, and I will do anything that I can to. I get him. I understand that he's on a mission. I understand where his heart is at, and I just want to do everything possible to support him as much as I possibly can, because his music's so important to me, and his work is so important to me, and I see him suffering, and it hurts me a lot, and I don't want him to suffer at all. That's the last thing I would ever want, is to see. I think he's a great man. So just because somebody, got involved in the business and stayed in it, they're serving us by making that music. This is not. They're helping us. It's a little compromised, but they're helping us, and I think they really do love us and want us to do. And both of you mean so much to me. Thank you for the support. And everybody should have been doing what they're doing, and I'm so grateful to them for doing this. I can't continue, but I will. Okay, so I'm obviously very sad. So here's the next comments of hers. Okay. At the time, I was on a different mission. I found my way into the Wessex Studio Lounge. Joe Strummer hailed me over to a coffee table where he was opening up a stack of mail. He handed me a letter to read. It was written in red ink. I knew that couldn't be good. It was from someone claiming to be from a loyalist paramilitary group in Belfast, threatening to kill the band if they returned to Northern Ireland. Joe seemed a bit shaken up by the letter and asked me who he should show it and whether he should show it to the others. I said there was no way to know if it was even genuine. He handed me the envelope. It had a Belfast postmark, but then it certainly wasn't the first time they'd received such offers. The Clash had famously been photographed on the Falls Road, strolling insolently past a British Army patrol after their first Belfast gig in '77 had been cancelled at short notice. That photo opportunity had some people pretty riled up when I'd gone to Belfast for the first time in early '78. We couldn't even stay at the Europa Hotel in the city center, as it was under reconstruction. After the latest attempt to blow it up, we had to lodge at the Conway, little ways out of town. And even that building had work going on that you wanted to tell yourself were improvements and not repairs. You had to pass through the kind of security checkpoint that is now commonplace, but back then made you aware that this was just everyday life in Northern Ireland. On the way to our show at the Queen's Hall, we saw the Queen's soldiers on patrol. They looked like little kids, but they were little kids holding machine guns. You knew they'd come from towns that really looked no different from Belfast. It was all so normal, except for the barbed wire and the observation towers and the armored cars and a tangle of old hatreds and grievances that you could never imagine being reconciled. In the middle of the show, a lad ran up from behind me and grabbed the microphone and started yelling something incoherent. He was so wound up by then that I thought it must be a political statement. I left him to it. It turned out that he was just a local punk rocker trying to make a name for his band. Before the security could grab him, the lad tried to make a spectacular exit by stage diving into the audience. I think a lot of people had read about Iggy Pop doing this and copied him. I'd even seen Joe Strummer attempt it at the Lyceum Ballroom. On this occasion, the audience just parted like the Red Sea and let the local hero knock himself out on the concrete floor. Belfast, okay? That's where Van Morrison's from. Incredible. He is so aware of the sick things going on in England, how we are designed to hate each other, and that's how they control us. This is the British government. Oh, who runs the British government? Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. Who runs the British government? Who's been running the British government since, I don't know, 1600s? It's really bad. I do love England. I wish for England to become a good country. Hopefully. It's such a beautiful country, such beautiful traditions. So I'm rooting for you guys. You guys are the ones that need to save us. You guys in England need to save us because it's coming from there. We're a colony. I don't know if we ever weren't a colony, so don't blame us. But do blame us when we're wrong. But it's coming from England. Please save us. Help us. Please help us. Because it's hell here and it's our fault that we don't unite. Why don't we unite? Why don't we unite? Why don't we look out for ourselves? We have everything in common. We just want to be happy. We just want to live. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.